Ekiti APC governorship primary has been concluded. The winner has emerged and the losers have also emerged. But if, like me, you wonder how very quickly the ruling party, well, at the national level, and the opposition party here in Ekiti State was able to quickly resolve its issues, then you'll be interested in who my guest is today on the program, as I bid you welcome to Fireworks, your preferred hard talk interview program on TVC. I am Bukola Samuel-Wemimo. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. Today, my guest is former Governor of Ekiti State and former Deputy National Chairman, South All Progressives Congress, and of course, one of the aspirants in the just concluded APC primary in Ekiti State. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with the most topical issue in the state right now, which is the just concluded All Progressives Congress governorship primary. Now, you and other aspirants had a lot to complain about after the failed primary of April the 5th. Now, what was different at the second primary, during which a winner emerged? How different was the party able to conduct itself from the look of things?
Well, what was different? First, there was no blatant see and buy, what I would call see and buy, which was blatant first time. It was not part of it again. That was what really angered people, because they were complaining about the activities of some of the agents, and it was appearing as if their complaints are not being taken into consideration. And you know, wherever you want peace, you have to ensure justice. But that's by the way now. It's gone.
Now, you had asked the leadership of the party to investigate the Tankwa Makura committee that conducted the first primary. Was that sufficiently done? Because I also know that there was a meeting between party leaders and the aspirants before the second primary was held.
Yeah, we complained. We didn't ask for an investigation. We complained first about a gentleman who was secretary. We first complained to Governor Makura himself, and he knew that those who were complaining were very, very emphatic. They had their facts. He had to relegate the guy from secretary to member. But even then, a member is still a member, and is a member, and he can do as much as a member if he wants to do anything funny. We didn't have that gentleman again in the second time, so that is one of the differences. The atmosphere was such that the processes did not allow so much of interactions between the agents and the delegates. That is also one of the improvements. I would say there were some improvements. The blatant disregard for boundaries were not there, so it was better.
Now, I ask this because after the botched primary, the party spokesman was addressing the press, in which he announced that those party agents that participated in the botched primary and were found wanting, destroying ballot papers and engaging in banditry were automatically disqualified. And then another party leader by the name Eta addressed the press also and said, as far as the Ekiti governorship primary was concerned, that there had not been any committee meeting prior to May 5, and that the only meeting that had taken place was the one presided over by the party national chairman, Chief John Odige Oyegun. It was a seeming indictment, and I want you to comment on that. To what extent do you hold the party leadership responsible for the botched primary?
I was a member of the National Working Committee, and I believe that the National Working Committee was the one that was in charge. Therefore, if it didn't go right, we hold them responsible. Sure.
Now, you said that at the second primary, there was no blatant see and buy, as there was during the first primary. I wonder if there was see and buy behind closed doors before the second primary, or sufficient enough even during the first primary, before we now saw the final results, and how this will help, so to speak, future primaries as a precedent.
The future really should not be about delegates primaries, not indirect primaries. The future for our party, if you ask me, will be about direct primaries. Once we can get our database right, and we have database of members, and we close our books, we can ask all members to go show their party identity and their voters' cards and vote whoever they prefer. That will be the ideal primary.
So delegate system is a problem?
Oh, it is.
Inducement still goes on.
It is fraught with a lot of tendencies for corruption. And what we saw here definitely will not make anybody who loves this party.
So when you were making reference to an individual's dishonesty, when you were speaking to our correspondent, who were you referring to?
No, I wouldn't name names now.
Is it Dr. Fayemi?
No, I wouldn't name names, I've told you. This is a family affair. We fought that battle. That is over now.
Isn't that the problem? You settle these issues as family affairs, and they keep reoccurring during subsequent electioneering systems.
No. Bet it. I personally have taken lessons that I will continue to hammer on. Don't let us go into delegate primaries again. Because whenever you give people the opportunity, the greed can take over. Their personal, individual greed can take over, and the system will be worse for it. So we have seen it, we've gone through it, and I can tell you, if you ask all the aspirants again now to vote, I will be surprised if you still can get 7 votes on the side of delegates primaries. I'll be surprised.
So you don't subscribe to the delegate system?
I believe it shouldn't.
That means you didn't induce or try to induce any delegate to vote for you?
What do you mean?
Exactly what the question suggests. Because you came second in that primary. You polled quite a number of votes. So you didn't try to induce any delegate?
Inducement, it depends on how you define it.
Did you camp delegates? Did you feed them?
First time I camped delegates. Second time, because we, as aspirants, met and we said, let us discourage the attitude of camping. So second time I didn't camp. But first time I did, yes, because look, anything that is not against the laws of the land, that is not against the guidelines of the party, people will try to do.
So after you camped them the first time, when they were leaving, did you say, okay, take this, thank you for coming?
Of course. Of course.
Can you tell us exactly what it was?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't tell you how much it was. But of course, when you camp people, you give them gratis.
So it stands to reason that, well, I wouldn't know and I wouldn't accuse you, but one of the aspirants said he noted that at least 4 aspirants perpetrated sharp practices at the venue of the first primary. So it stands to reason that, of course, there was inducement behind closed doors, and the see and buy that you talk about in open glare at the Oluyemi Kaode Stadium.
Well, I don't know. They say 4 aspirants. I don't know. But what I know is that I didn't go there to induce people at the venue because it was unnecessary. And I don't know how many people tried to do see and buy. But the complaint that we had was about a particular agent. And
you wouldn't mention the name of that agent. What's the difference between camping them ahead of the primary election, you know, which is what you may call in political parlance doing your homework ahead of the primary election, and inducing them at the venue? And is it ideal for a political value system that should be a precedent?
Wait, I want to reply you with a question. What is the difference between campaigning days before elections, before any elections, and going to the polling unit to now campaign? One is right, the other is wrong.
Which is right, which is wrong?
You campaign before polling day, and the moment INEC says no more campaigns, no more campaigns. So something can be right before you get to voting point, and can be wrong at voting point.
So is it right to, while campaigning, before you get to the voting point, giving the delegates or your potential supporter money to get his or her support? Is it right?
Is he getting his or her own support? Depends on the way you look at it. And I'm being realistic. If you don't do it, other people may do it. And if you don't do it, other people do it, then you would have knocked yourself out. You are not giving them money because you want to get their support. Before you give them money, there would have been an attitude of friendship. That, oh, I am for you. It's not a blind giving. It's not a blind giving. It's these people had interacted with you. These people are your friends and part of your crowd and so on. And you offer them something. You know others are also probably offering something. It can go from little peanuts to very outrageous amounts. But you don't also want to do something that will make people laugh at your own people.
All right, I'll take your word for it and leave your supporters to decide the propriety of such approach to electioneering campaign, whether at the primary level or at the actual polls.
Because we don't want that approach to even rear its head again, that we are asking for direct primaries in future everywhere. All
right, we'll talk about the propriety of another aspect of the electioneering process, but that'll be after the break. You're watching Fireworks, and today my guest is a former APC Deputy National Chairman South, former Governor of Ekiti State, in the person of Segun Oni. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. In today's edition, we're reviewing yet again the APC Ekiti gubernatorial primaries, the first and the second, and the lessons learned from that primaries. We're going ahead to look at the processes, and this time, sir, I want us to talk about the purchase of forms by candidates. They were levied 2.5 million naira for expression of intent, and another 5 million naira for the actual nomination forms. And I've gathered from some aspirants who said they actually spent more than that. So why such outrageous fees at the primary level?
Purchase of forms, 5 million naira. Expression of interest, 500,000 naira. Total, 5.5 million. But at state levels, the state now imposed a levy because, you see, if they don't do that, there will be no money to run the state with. When we had primaries, the other
Run the state
structures with, the state chapter has need for revenue to be able to fulfill its own obligations. I don't believe that 2.5 million naira is the ideal amount, but then that is what they believe they should charge.
So you do not frown at this fees?
No, I don't, because I believe that if we don't do something like that, most people on their own will not think it fit to contribute to the party that they want to contest in.
But doesn't that explain the desperation that is attached to seeking such highly placed offices? Such fees, don't you think, makes it difficult to manage the loss at the end of the day?
No, it's not those fees that will make it difficult to manage the loss. It is how the process of primaries itself is managed.
But if you spend 7.5 million naira on a venture, you definitely will be expecting a return on your investment.
But if you spend 7.5 million naira in a venture where 33 people are participating, and you know ahead that only one will succeed, so you're going into it voluntarily because you believe it will pay off. You are not getting there to discover it's 7.5 million.
If at the state level, the 2.5 million naira is required to run the party structure, at the national level, can you justify the 5 million naira charge on aspirants?
Look, let me tell you.
What is the money spent on?
Democracy is not cheap. You will send panels upon panels. They will be paid allowances to take care of them coming. We had the primaries twice, for example. They were paid allowances to stay in hotels, and because if you don't pay people well from the party's point of view, you expose them also to danger and to temptation.
Let's make progress now. You have lost to Dr. Kayode Fayemi, who has been able to clinch the ticket for the All Progressives Congress in the coming election. Will you still work for the victory of this party at the state level and at the national level?
I made it very, very clear. The reason I went into this is because I want the party to have a very bright chance of winning. Not for Segun Oni. If it were for Segun Oni, I'll tell you, as it is today, the people on the street believe I have the brightest chance to be governor. Therefore, they are putting pressure on me. Take the ticket of this party, take the ticket of that party. Even right from the primaries, I was receiving texts and so on. People were telling me they want to discuss with me. But it's not about me. It's not about Segun Oni wanting to be governor. It is about Segun Oni wanting his party to win the governorship. Therefore, the only way I could stand is with my party.
So you will urge your supporters who would have cast their ballots for you in that election to vote for Dr. Fayemi?
I will do, but you know,
there's a but.
Let me tell you, and we should not deceive ourselves. If he has 100 supporters and A migrates to B, he will be lucky to have at least 50% of those 100 people still believing
in him
with B. But we will do whatever is humanly possible. But we are not magicians, and we don't want to pretend as if we have a magic wand. Once we are there, everything will be okay. We will do our best. When I was in primary school, there was this song that we used to sing when we go on the line every day. do your best and leave the rest. That's all we can do. We can only do our best and leave the rest. But I believe that as party people, we will stay faithful to the ideas of our party.
Now, will the All Progressives Congress be able to square up convincingly? Or in other words, can the APC take the election from the PDP, the ruling PDP in Ekiti State, come July 14?
I'm not a soothsayer. It's going to be tough, and I don't want to deceive myself. It's going to be tough, but it's doable. It's doable. I was a student of statistics as an engineering student, and one thing the teacher will say then is, if the probability of an occurrence is 1 in a million, it can occur. It can occur. Even with a probability of 1 in a million, it can occur. So, if we work very hard...
So it can only occur based on probability, not based on antecedents.
What do you mean? Probability is also part of antecedents. Probability is a chance of it occurring. Even whatever your antecedents are, your probability cannot be 1 all the time.
But we gathered that civil servants are weary of another return of Dr. Kayode Fayemi.
Well,
and we also gathered that they were not exactly enthusiastic if you had been the one to clinch victory either, because they say Ekiti State has not significantly changed either under Dr. Fayemi or Engineer Segun Oni.
Well, that's not the story that I had been hearing. What I've been hearing is that they believe I did well, and I'm grateful to God. But if anybody says I didn't, well, it's going to be that person's opinion, because you can't satisfy everybody. You can't. But civil servants are entitled to their views. We will try and reach out to them to convince them.
Can you rival the PDP's stomach infrastructure, which is one of the things that the people seem to have embraced?
Embrace stomach infrastructure. You surprise me, because what I will want you to do is to ask specific questions. What is stomach infrastructure? How has it been implemented? Because when you talk stomach infrastructure, it could mean food rations, it could mean food tickets, meal tickets, it could mean even outright serving of food at locations cooked or uncooked and so on. What is stomach infrastructure? How has it been implemented so far? And fortunately, stomach is such a device created by God to require servicing on a daily basis. So it's not something that you service last week once and you don't have a way, unless what you are doing will take care of. I'm here in Ekiti, and I haven't heard that there is a regular process of giving people food or food subsidies or whatever.
Dr. Kayode Fayemi wants to return to office yet again. He had been governor, and you also wanted, until you lost to him, to return to the government house yet again. What is the allure? Give us a sense of that attraction to public office.
I told you that the main reason I contested is because I want to give this party a chance to make our assurance more assured at getting a win. I believe, from what people were saying all over the place, I don't know whether you have asked questions. If you have, you will know that the polls favor what I'm saying. And if the polls favor my candidature, then I should not take that away from my party. That's the main thing. If you talk about Leo, personally, there is nothing in the governorship to excite me so much. And that's why it's easy for me to...
But they say power is sweet and absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Power is sweet. It depends on whose taste. I was out of power, and I don't think I lost any sweetness. And I must say it, I didn't lose any.
But you wanted to return.
Yes, and I've told you the reason why I wanted to return.
But it's not about the people, it's
about
about your party.
Yeah, it's about the party, but when I was doing it, I had to now craft what will be in it for the people. And I put together something that will be legendary, different, something that will turn around the situation for life. I have to craft that because it's not just a matter of wanting to be there. It's a matter of wanting to make a difference. So I prepared.
Are you just coming up with that idea, with that blueprint? You were governor, well, at least for nearly 4 years.
When I was
what does it take to pass a course? You know, governors would say there must be continuity. You can't do everything within 4 years. But it begs the question. According to recent commentary, a governor should at least be able to secure 5 credits in 5 areas of governance: education, health, infrastructure development.
I would say ask it with the people. I will secure a minimum of very good credits in them. A minimum of very good credits. Education. Education, before I became governor, pupils in primary schools and secondary schools were carrying desks and benches to the school. Within a few months, we abolished that, and we made sure that all schools had full complements of furniture, including teachers' furniture. We introduced the egg and chocolate tea supplement for primary and junior secondary.
So that's in the past now. What's your political future as we wrap up?
My political future is in the hands of God. I'm not fussy about anything. I'm very confident that I will always be able to prove myself, given any challenge. But I am not fussy about anything.
All right. We want to thank you very much.
Thank
I
you
wish
very
you
much.
the best as you decide what to do in the future.
Thank you very much.
That's how it's been on Fireworks today. And of course, there have been a lot of interesting revelations. I hope you didn't miss out on any of it. But if you did, of course, there are many repeat broadcasts after the first one. That's why I urge you to join me again same time next week when we, as usual, try and succeed in raising the bar on national conversation for national development on your preferred Hard Talk interview program, Fireworks. On behalf of the crew, I am Bukola Samuel-Wemimo. Bye for now.